Hello, this is Matt from Drive, and welcome to the Drive Single Sign-On webinar. Today we're going to explain a little bit about what we mean by single sign-on. It's a combination of a couple different products that we've had for a while, but we're bringing them together to create one single environment for the MFP. Uh, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the licensing for it, how it's going to work, how you can buy it, and some promos also that we have for single sign-on. Also, we're going to make this webinar available as a recording, so you can get it at drivve.com, or we'll put it on our YouTube channel, so you can send it off if anybody else wants to watch it. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the GoToWebinar tool, and we will answer them at the end. So what do we mean by true continuous single sign-on, and what is that? Well, like I said, single sign-on is a way of controlling the access and personalizing the access for that device throughout all the different applications, be it OSA applications and also functions of the device like copy, scan, fax. It allows for the user to only authenticate one time for all the different applications. So if I walk up and I swipe my card, no longer do I need to authenticate when I go into Drive Image to scan, or when I go to pull my jobs down to print them from the print queue. It's just a one single authentication. So it makes it a little faster. The users are using their own password, and it's a little easier for the end user. We're also making it possible to store the password on the server so that they don't ever have to enter it again after the first time. And we can do things like authenticated email and browse SharePoint as the user without having them to enter their password every time. We can also push out new workflows to all the users and personalize them. So if I'm a specific user, I should only be able to do certain things on the machine, and maybe I can only scan in certain ways with certain scan profiles. And because we're logging in one time and all the apps know that it's this user that's logged in, we can do things like that. Also, it allows us to do tracking, reporting, billing, things like that. So the answer is why true single. Well, the question is why true continuous single sign-on. The answer is because it's simple for the user. It's simple to manage. It's secure, and it allows for a lot more powerful workflows than by just combining a bunch of different apps. So you should be familiar with some of these products. Drive Image is our image capture and routing application. It's been on the OSA platform since almost the beginning. We also have Drive DM, which is our document management system. It's available both in the cloud and on site. And we have Drive Print, which is our print management system. It works as a authentication app. It works as a pull printing app, and also mobile printing and reporting. So this is what you first see when you walk up to the device. It's an MX3 application for the Sharp, so we can be the login screen. And the user can authenticate with their ID card, so the card that they use to get into the building, or a PIN if they have a PIN associated with them, or they could also use their phone. You see that barcode right there. They could log in with their iPhone or their Android, and also obviously they can use their username and password. That screen can also be customized too if you want to put a customer logo on it. So what's the big difference? We don't just know who the user is. We actually are the user. We can personalize it, and we can lock it down for that one specific use case and for that user. We do integrate in a certain sense with other applications like PaperCut and whatever other external authority applications there are. But in those cases, we really just know who the user is. It's not actually the user that's logged on. So a lot of the workflows are sort of workarounds. You're limited a bit, and also you can't always support it as well because, in this case, everything's happening within the Drive application. So a really basic use that you can see here is pull printing. I walk up, I've swiped my card, it knows who I am. That's why that little guy up in the top right is filled in. And here I see all my jobs. So I can choose to release them from here. This is a pretty standard application that's been around for a while. Pull printing. So I walk up, I see my jobs in the server, and then I can print them out. We also have personalized scanning. This is Drive Image, what you should recognize from way back in the day. And Drive Image allows you to create these personalized scanning workflows. that now, with the benefit of single sign-on, can include full authentication. So scan to home folder, scan to email. You see here also that there are specific workflows like accounts payable and legal, and those can all be set up from scratch and customized. So the idea is that these two applications combine together to really make one thing, and it's one solution. It's not a big combination of different modules. You don't have to worry about if you bought the right module, if the customer, if they don't know what they're doing, they don't know which they're going to use in the future, whatever. We're just sending you out there with a solution in your back pocket, and you can use it to make the workflow or the experience at the machine very specific or very broad. And that's the idea. It's about simplicity, and it's about having this whole toolkit to build a specific solution for the customer. So we're trying to get away from all these different products, different modules, to just have this one solution. So we've touched on this stuff, but just real quick, what does Drivve Print do? Device authentication, so that's the MX3 bit. Embedded pull printing, MFP, that's the follow me print or the pull printing that we showed. Mobile printing, that's printing pretty much any file type from any phone to any printer, including into your queue. And also usage tracking and reporting. So we can run reports, we can bill to cost centers, and upcoming versions will have a little more in terms of quotas and rules and things like that. But right now it's mainly reporting and bill to. So Drivve Image does a whole lot of things. We've got connectors, we can do real hardcore image processing and routing, but the real important things for the single sign-on are scan to email. So authenticated scan to email, it's going to show up in your sent items folder when you go back to your computer. And if you're using Exchange, you also have access to your personal contacts in the global address book. And we can do all that because we have a full single sign-on, full authentication. Scan to home folder, pretty basic use. Browse SharePoint and network folders dynamically. I'm sorry if I'm jumping around a little bit. Started from the bottom. We can browse SharePoint as the user. This is big because, a lot of times people spend a lot of time and money customizing SharePoint so that the permissions are relevant to all the users that they have in there, right? We don't want someone from the HR department going into the accounting library. With this solution, the user is actually logged in, so they'll only see at the panel what they should see, what's already set up for them. And that works also with folders too. So if someone's using network folders, we carry the full permissions over. Also down the bottom, you see query line of business applications with permissions. What that means is, let's say if I'm doing a SQL query to an accounting system or to a record system, we can pass the credentials, we can do it as that user. So here you go. There's a lot of different things involved in this single sign-on. I will show you in a little bit where you can go on the website to see a feature summary and a list of all the features that are included in here, but there's some of the big ones. Sort of a crude diagram, but you get the idea. One of the big things that this is getting across is that nothing's actually stored on the device. So it's not just single sign-on, it's secure single sign-on. I know that there were a couple apps for Sharp before that, I think the Smart Look apps, and they were all actually storing credentials on the device, which obviously a lot of people are going to have problems with. So we've done it completely on the server side. The user walks up to the device, they log in via an encrypted tunnel to the server, and then when they go into things like Drivve Image and Drivve Print, those are just web applications communicating in an encrypted way directly with the server. So everything is encrypted. The password and the credentials are encrypted on the server. The communication's all encrypted. And also all the events between the device and the server are encrypted. So nothing's on the device. Everything's looking at the server. So in summary, true continuous sign-on, single sign-on for Sharp MFPs, secure single sign-on for Sharp MFPs. It's a combination of both Drivve Image and Drivve Print, but it's presented as one solution. It's secure and it's very easy. If you've set up either of these applications, you know that we pretty much do all the legwork for you in terms of communicating with the device and adding URLs and things like that. There are setups and little tools in there that'll just add all the URLs for you automatically. What we're working on now, which is upcoming, is actually a wizard-like installer for these two things so that you can run it. It'll find the printers. It'll ask you what the workflows you want to set up, and it'll just go ahead and set everything up for you. So I'm going to pass it over to Liz here. So she's going to go through some of the purchasing options for single sign-on. And then afterwards, I'll show you where you can get these products on the website and where you can get the other information. Liz?
All right. Hi, everyone. So I'm just going to go over some of the options for purchasing single sign-on. So we will still sell Drive Image and Drive Print individually, but we will also now sell a combination as single sign-on packages. These will include most of the functionality of Drive Image and Drive Print, and then we will also have a light version that will exclude some of the functionality of Drive Image. So basically, there'll be three options for purchasing single sign-on. You can order these packages if you've been certified in Drive Image and Drive Print, and you would have had to have passed the technical certification courses as well. So the first option is the pay-as-you-go option. So basically, you're just purchasing these for particular deals. There's no commitments, there's no minimum order quantities, and you just buy per deal. The second option are volume purchases. With this, there are a commitment on certain volumes. So it starts at 50 MFPs, and then there's another price break at 100. With this, there is no ongoing commitment, and licenses would expire 12 months after you purchase them if they're not redeemed. And then finally, the last one is the best possible price. So there is a commitment with this. It's a minimum of 12 months. So essentially you would commit to purchasing licenses for 50% of the total MFPs that you sell in the previous 12 months. And then basically with this plan, there would be a much higher profit margin, and this would massively differentiate you from your competition. And so if you would like more information, you can just shoot an email to sales@drivve.com or give us a call at extension 1. And I'll pass it back to Matt.
Cool. Yeah. So, like Liz said, you can buy it on an individual basis per device, or you can get involved with some of these bulk purchases. So where can you get more info? My Drive, but actually more so Drivve.com. We've started moving everything from My Drive over to Drivve.com. So all the downloads and literature and things like that. I'll show you where you can go get the spec sheets and the software. In addition to the FAQ bit here. So you can set up support cases and you can search a knowledge base for Drive Image and Drive Print. And actually, we've made a single sign-on FAQ called Setting Up Single Sign-On, which walks you through all the most important steps for how to set these two things up. So definitely be sure to check that out. If you go to downloads here, and you'll see there's technical info and sales and marketing. In the sales and marketing side, if you go to Drive Print, you'll see what the specs are, things like that. Combinations, I think, Liz, is where you can, let's see, there you go. So there's a brochure. Liz, do you know, sorry, do you know where the spec sheet is?
Yeah, you just have to log in to see the spec sheet for single sign-on.
Ah,
So you
yeah.
log in at the top right.
So yeah, everyone remember, if you don't have a My Drive account, you can create one here, and you would use that to log in. And once you've logged in, there you go. You'll see all the brochures and things like that. So go to downloads,
You
log
can also
in.
see the feature matrix sheet under the tools section, I believe, as well.
Okay. Yep, there you go, feature matrix and single sign-on feature matrix. So that's a good one. So the other thing too is if you want to find the actual setups, you can log in here and go to software, and you can download the Drive Image setup and then also the Drive Print setup here. And those two things together are single sign-on. So yeah, anyway, let us know if you have any questions. Go to Drivve.com, grab the info, grab the setups, give us a call. If you want to set up a time for us to help set it up in your showroom, just send us an email, send it to sales@drive.com, and we'll have someone scheduled to remote in or come by, and we'll set it up and give you a walkthrough. So if anyone has any questions, you can answer them now, and if they're relevant, I will answer them to everybody, or you can ask them now. So someone asked, what about web-based software like Salesforce? Can they print from them? Currently not Salesforce. We're working on a Salesforce connector. But with Microsoft hosted applications like 365 and SharePoint, we can actually set that single sign-on up to work with those hosted applications. So for instance, if I used Exchange 365, if I'm doing that login, we can set the single sign-on to be carried up to those cloud applications. Um, Someone said that they thought the meeting was supposed to be at an hour later, but actually we're going to send an email with this recording and we'll put it up on our YouTube channel. So if you missed it, um, you can watch it again. It's only been 17 minutes, so it's not too long. Where can I get one of those shirts? Call sales@drive.com. I think we should have a box of them sitting around somewhere. We also can do banners for your showroom and pop-up banners and things like that. Okay, cool. Well, if you have any other questions, send them to sales@drive.com or give us a ring. Um, Thanks everybody for coming here. Oh, got another question. What's the closest competitor to this solution? Drive print versus paper cut? Yeah, actually, paper cut would be a pretty close competitor to the drive print piece. But the benefit of the drive single sign-on is that we have all the scanning bit and the document management stuff. So whereas we do work with PaperCut, with Drive Image and with Drive DM, it's not a full single sign-on. It's just pretty much we know who the user is, so we can fake a couple things. But if you really want to do secure reporting and single sign-on, and if you want to use all these scanning workflows where the user is actually logged in, like email and home folder and things like that, that's where Drive single sign-on takes a little further. But yeah, definitely a lot of the similar things that PaperCut does is Drive single sign-on, and more specifically Drive print is doing. Okay, well, everyone, thanks for coming. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon.